Welcome to ETF 360. I'm Tom Lydon with ETF Trends, along with our Director of Research, Dave Nadig, and a special guest, Rene Reyna, who's Head of Thematic and Specialty Product Strategy at Invesco. Rene, it's great having you. ESG and ETFs continue to gain traction, and advisors and investors seem to not get enough of ESG strategies. But also, the great thing about it is ESG is really matching investing and values. Has this been surprising to you of how quickly people have been adapting to ESG strategies?
Yeah, Tom, so first of all, great to be here talking with you. It's surprising, I guess I would say, how much we've lagged, maybe our counterparts, across the pond in Europe. I think it's exciting, when we think about the awareness and education that's happening here domestically in the U.S. and investors, adopting ESG into their portfolios. I think the other sort of exciting part of it is, we're seeing it across multiple investor demographics. So it's not just millennials. You're seeing high net worth investors, you're seeing institutions. And so I'm not surprised that once it started taking off and being accepted, that it's grown as much as it has. And we're excited for the opportunities in this space.
Rene, one of the big challenges here in the U.S. is that we often can't even get three investors to agree on what E, S, or G even means, right? Wildly different opinions about how to approach this. Some investors want to stay really close to the broad market. Others want to make really radically different decisions. What's been the approach from Invesco on meeting these wildly different needs?
Yeah, so I think the good news is there's a lot of options for investors. And so when I think about our ETF offering, for example, in the environmentally themed sort of ESG space, a lot of our strategies go back, 10 plus years. And so what that means is the strategies predate, a lot of the ESG trends that we're seeing today, a lot of the rating systems and metrics, for example, that exist. And so, when you think about our lineup, what we're really providing to the marketplace is the exposure around the climate. So think more clean energy, think water, and then we'll also have some exciting news about a new portfolio we're bringing to market here today. But, really that's where our focus has been, and that's going to continue to evolve.
So Rene, you talk about this new portfolio. Here we are on Earth Day. You're there in front of the New York Stock Exchange with all those beautiful vines. Tell us a little bit about GBLD and where that fits in the ESG puzzle.
Well, conveniently, right behind me is all this green. So, green building, ticker GBLD, is going to launch here today. So, the climate or environment sustainability theme has evolved over time. And, I think what's exciting is just around some of the policy that has taken place. And so now we're seeing the U.S. looking to regain its leadership, rejoining the Paris Accord, for example. And you really can't have the conversation about decarbonization without talking about buildings. And so if we look globally around buildings, they generate around 40% of global emissions. And if you look at more urbanized areas, that could be upwards near 70%. So to have a serious conversation around the topic, green buildings have to be included. And so what we're excited about is bringing a first strategy of its kind to market that's going to target exposures globally to this theme, green buildings. And so I think over time, you're going to start seeing an evolution. You're going to see existing buildings start being retrofitted to be more compliant with sort of the green sort of metrics that exist. You're going to see new build-outs that also incorporate some of these green themes as well. So it's really an exciting time, and we're excited about this launch.
What kind of companies would you see inside this portfolio? I mean, I know from walking around cities, you see all these big, LEED certified platinum buildings. They're doing all sorts of great stuff in terms of capturing solar energy, being more efficient. Are we looking at technology companies? Are we looking at actual builders? Is it folks who are, inventing new ways of building? What would we see inside the portfolio?
Yeah, so I'd say a couple of things. Some of the characteristics that we see in the portfolio, I mentioned sort of a global theme. So it is global in nature. And so you're going to see about 25% exposure for U.S. companies, and then the remaining balance is going to be international. And so it's no secret, Asia is, primarily the big growth center right now that's evolving, buildings. But in terms of some of the types of companies you're going to see in the portfolio, you're going to see property companies who own multiple buildings, who are looking to design their facilities to be sort of LEED compliant. You're going to see construction companies that are in the market of green buildings, and then consultancy services, so people that advise others, companies and building construction companies around being compliant and developing more sustainable building concepts within their construction.
Well, Rene, this has been great. You're lucky we're not there today, but Dave and I are planning on getting to the exchange in the next couple of weeks with our Tarzan outfits and swinging from those vines. Please join us.
There you go.
Hey, listen, thanks for being with us on ETF 360, and look forward to seeing you again soon.